Good Monday morning, everyone. Today we're going to do our class on Art Nouveau. This is another style and design period from the early 1900s, late 1800s that follows the aesthetic movement that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. So this is one of my favorites following the aesthetic movement. This is probably my first favorite of all of the design movements. So a little bit of history about Art Nouveau. And just a bit about characteristics. It is an ornamental style of art and design that flourished in Europe and North America from about 1890 to 1915. It was a deliberate attempt to create a new style of art, hence the name Art Nouveau, or New Art in English. It is seen in architecture, interior design, jewelry, glass design, posters, and illustrations. And some of the characteristics are long, sinuous, asymmetrical whiplash lines and curves. These undulating lines and curves often take the form of flower stalks and buds, vine tendrils, insect wings, and other sinuous objects found in nature. Just like the previous aesthetic movement, we see a lot of influence from nature and also the Japanese art. Art made in this style typically depicted lavish birds, flowers, insects, and other zoomorphs, as well as the hair and curvaceous bodies of beautiful women. So one of the most well-known Art Nouveau artists was Alphonse Mucha, and these are some of his more famous illustrations that he did. He was a famous advertising illustrator for J.O.B. rolling papers, for cigarette papers in the early 1900s. And then another famous painter of this time was Gustav Klimt. These are probably, I think maybe most of you have seen at least one or two of these paintings before. And then this is some examples of the interior design of the style. You see all of those beautiful curvaceous lines and the whiplash curves that go through all the furniture, the railings on the staircase there. And then here are some examples of some furniture from the time. Again, we see the whiplash lines, influence from nature. We see the floral designs, the peacock in the back of the settee, the nautilus shell in the lamp here, and the floral designs on the thing. Here's some jewelry. We skipped a slide there. No, we didn't. Okay, so this is some beautiful jewelry from the time. And we see again how nature and the whiplash line is influenced here again. In these pieces, we've got dragonflies, moths, beetles, and then in the central image, we see the beautiful woman in her hair. So that is my presentation for today. Any questions or comments on Art Nouveau style? Again, the reason that we discuss these styles is so that you guys can hopefully recognize this if you're out in an estate. These are some more desirable styles of furniture and market. So if you guys are able to identify these correctly, it might help you get a little bit more money for those pieces.
Can you quickly go over the time period again, date period for this movement?
Yes. So this is at the end of the 19th century, early 20th century. So 1890 to 1915. And those dates are a little loose. You know, it kind of overflowed a little bit after 1915 and then morphs into Art Deco, which we can talk about in a couple of weeks, but yeah, the late 1800s. So this is the end of the Victorian era into the Edwardian era. And again, this is the end of the aesthetic movement, which ended about in the 1890s and morphs into this new style of art, the Art Nouveau.
Thank you.
Okay.